Well, finally, we finally have a date for the next Nintendo Direct. This has been, I think, the longest period of time between Nintendo Directs since they started. I could be wrong about that, and I'm sure if I am, somebody will point that out. But it's been a really long time, and now we're going to have a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. I'm excited because this Nintendo Direct is happening at a time when I'm not going to be at work. So there's a possibility that I'll be able to live stream it. If you guys don't know, you can find my my Twitch page over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. I'm going to live stream the Nintendo Direct, and we'll join in on the conversation by being there in the chat, and we'll talk about everything that happens. The Direct is supposed to be about 35 minutes. So we got this tweet from Nintendo of America today. It said, tune in on February 13th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 5 p.m. my time for a Nintendo Direct featuring around 35 minutes of information on upcoming Nintendo Switch titles, including new details on Fire Emblem Three Houses. So it's going to be about 35 minutes. And my guess, because they are specifically calling out Fire Emblem Three Houses, that makes me think that there's a possibility that Fire Emblem Three Houses will be we'll get a release date for it, and that release date will be soon. So I don't know if this is so much my predictions. These are things that I'm hoping to hear about in the Nintendo Direct tomorrow. So first off, I'm hoping that we get Fire Emblem in first quarter. I think that would be really, really good. That means from January 1st to March something or other would be first quarter, and I would really like to see it somewhere in that window. Now, we're already halfway through February, so that would mean that they would be announcing it with at most 6 weeks of time before it launches. And maybe that's too soon. I don't know. There's no rumors that it's going to be like soon. I'm just hoping that it's going to be soon because they seem to be focusing on it. That also makes me think that it's going to be coming out before Luigi's Mansion. Because I think that if it was focused on I think if Luigi's Mansion was the next big game that's going to be released by Nintendo, then we will probably hear about that one more. I would like to hear about the release dates for some of the games that we're waiting on, like Pokemon. Well, maybe not Pokemon. Pokemon's in November game, and it's going to be a long way off at least I would think so. I would like to hear about Luigi's Mansion 3. I would like to hear about Fire Emblem release dates. If I were to guess as to, like, if I were in charge of releasing dates and knowing that I personally know nothing about, why you want to put things in certain spots, but I would personally launch Luigi's Mansion 3 in October. I mean, it's a spooky kind of game. October's Halloween. It would be perfect if it launched on Halloween. I think that would be cool too. The games that I am looking forward to, or the games that I'm hoping to hear about. I'm hoping to hear about an F-Zero game. We have not had an F-Zero game in a really long time. I'm hoping to hear about a Star Fox game. Maybe that rumored Star Fox Grand Prix that we had heard about seems like ages ago. I would like to see both of those, but both of those seem to have sold less and less each time that they made an appearance. And I almost wonder if Nintendo is saying, we're done. We're all done with F-Zero. We're all done with Star Fox. There's no need to go back to those franchises because for the most part, they just don't sell very well. Now, I mean, that's on us for not buying them. I mean, I didn't buy Star Fox Zero for the Wii U. I played F-Zero on the Nintendo 64. I don't think I got it for the GameCube. And the only Star Fox game that I ever played was the original Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. And even though I really liked it, and even though I really liked the F-Zero games that I played, I just never ended up picking them up. So, I mean, if you're looking for somebody to wave those pitchforks and torches at, it's me. because I haven't been buying those games. I want those games. I want to see what Nintendo can do with those on modern consoles, but especially freed from the constraints of the ridiculousness that was Star Fox Zero, where you had to use the Wii U gamepad to aim in one direction while shooting in another direction. No, thank you. Ew. I was not interested in that. You free it from that and you just make a game that you could sit down and play. I want to check that out. I think that would be great. I'm not holding my breath. I somehow doubt that that's going to happen, but I really do hope that we do hear about that. I'd like to see a brand new IP. Now, Nintendo at their investors meeting, they had teased in the most bland way that they are working on something that would please a lot of fans. They also said something very interesting. We're also going to be announcing a game or making a game or releasing a game. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but they're going to be bringing something out that leverages Nintendo Online. And that's a very important thing because right now there's not a ton of reason to pick up Nintendo Online unless there's for Smash. That's great. If you don't play Smash, then probably not so much. I think Nintendo Online is good. I think it could definitely be better, and I've talked about that many times in the past, and I'm not going to beat that dead horse today. But Nintendo specifically said something about they want to bring something that's going to leverage that, and they have an idea, and I don't know how close that is to fruition, but that would definitely be something I would like to hear about at the Nintendo Direct. I would like to hear about Super Nintendo games coming to Nintendo Online. That Mr. Furukawa said recently that a lot of people are opting for the shorter terms for Nintendo Online, and they want to be able to bring people to the longer terms. And if they do this, they didn't get the idea from me, so don't be mad at me. But I would not surprise me if they did bring Super Nintendo games to the to Nintendo Switch Online. What if it was only for people who did the year-long thing? A lot of people would be mad about that, but I think that might convince people. That's the kind of tiering system that I foresee Nintendo doing. A lot of people are saying, well, Nintendo could do, this price for this and this price for that. But what if instead it was, okay, well, you get everything if you get the year-long thing, but as you get the shorter and shorter installments, not only does it cost more, but it also comes with less and less. And if I were Nintendo, I think I would be tempted to do that because I think it makes good business sense. What else do I think or what else do I hope? I don't want to use the word think. What else do I hope that we will see? I think that it's possible we could hear a date for Joker DLC for Smash Brothers. We've been waiting for that since the Game Awards back in December, and Mr. Sakurai said specifically that he was in very early stages of development. That's why they only showed the animation instead of him fighting it all. And it's only been about almost 3 months since that announcement. I don't know how fast they can get that stuff up and running, but it would be cool to hear an announcement for a date, or maybe see some footage of him being played. What I think would be really cool is if they were showing footage of him being played, and then the next Smash DLC character comes in and is unveiled because they showed up and fought Joker in the trailer. And just to clarify, for those of you who are unaware, Joker is from Persona 5, not from the Batman universe. We're not talking about the Joker with the clown makeup, that kind of thing. We're talking about a character from a game that's not on the Nintendo Switch, which is really weird. Speaking of that, it would make sense for them to make some kind of announcement about Persona 5 coming to the Nintendo Switch, most likely Persona 5 R, because they're making a remastered version of the game. However, I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Atlas is the company that makes Persona 5. I think they said something about they were going to make announcements in March. So Nintendo doing this in February, maybe they won't talk about Joker at that point. I'm not sure. Um, I sent out a tweet asking for, what are you looking forward to hearing about most from tomorrow's Nintendo Direct? And this is at Run Jump Stomp on Twitter. And Johnny LeDuc says, I don't think it'll happen, but Mario Odyssey DLC would be nice. I think that's a really good point. I've talked about this many times in the past. The extra costumes that Nintendo is giving Mario that you can then go back into the game, earn some coins, and unlock these costumes, those are cool. They don't bring me back to that game. Once I finished that game, I was pretty much done with it, and there wasn't really a reason for me to go back because I don't care about unlocking everything. I just wanted to play through and explore these worlds. So I would love to see new DLC from Super Mario Odyssey where we get new worlds to explore. Maybe like 3 worlds for $10 or something like that. I think that would be fantastic, and it would also give people a reason to hold on to Super Mario Odyssey after the fact, because you don't want people trading in your game. If people trade in your game, then the next person can come and buy it used from GameStop, and they get to play that same game, and you don't get any money from that sale, Nintendo. So I think that would be a really good way to keep people from trading in that game, because they would say, oh man, if we're going to be getting DLC, then we're probably going to want to hold on to these games. And Mr. Furukawa recently said that they wanted to have more DLC on their big tentpole titles. Let's scroll down a little bit. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm thinking it's Seilin, Seilin, on Twitter. They said Animal Crossing and something completely new, or a new Wario Land, but mostly only in my dreams. I think that a new Wario Land would be awesome, and I would definitely buy it. The reason that I would be really excited for that is because I've never played a Wario Land game. The only one that I ever bought was for the Wii. The local video store had folded under the pressure from Netflix, and they were selling everything. So I went down to the store and I bought Wario Land Shake It, I think, for the Nintendo Wii. And I put it in, and the disc was all scratched. And of course, I couldn't return it because all sales were final because they were closing. So I heard it was really, really good, but the disc was scratched and I couldn't get it to work. I think that would be a great idea. So that's a good idea, Salen. Nintendork, or at Club Nintendork on Twitter, says, for me, it's Fire Emblem and Assassin's Creed, possibly Pikmin. I don't care about Assassin's Creed. I haven't really got into that series. I'm sure that I will at some point play one. But I know that there's a lot of people who only have a Nintendo console, and so that would make a lot of sense for them. Possibly Pikmin. Yeah. Pikmin 4, they said, is done and just waiting, and I'm not sure, like, when they said done, I think that was kind of in the era of the Wii U, so that means they have to port it over to the Switch, and that might be a lot of extra work. Would I buy it? Maybe. I played Pikmin 1, and I thought it was very interesting and cool. Definitely different, but I never finished it. And then when Pikmin 2 came out, I think I played it a little bit, didn't really grab my attention. But, that's just because it's not a game for me doesn't mean I don't want it to happen. So Assassin's Creed and Pikmin, bring them on. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that want those games. Kevin Ellis says, I'm hoping for Metroid Prime Trilogy and Super Nintendo games added to Switch Online. Jonathan Burry writes in, I will continue to hold out hope for the Metroid Prime Trilogy, another Metroid fan. Also hoping to hear about the unannounced game that Nintendo has up their sleeve this year. I think that all of those are really good ideas. If you want to join that conversation, again, I'm Run Jump Stomp on Twitter. You can find it there, or you can just follow the link in the show notes and then just reply to the thread, because I think that would be great. And I would, speaking of DLC, I would also really, really like to hear about Mario Kart 8 DLC. I know that there are people who would get salty about Mario Kart 8 DLC, but for me, I think that is better than bringing out Mario Kart 9 in this generation. I think Mario Kart 9 should really be the next generation. Actually, I don't think they should ever even make Mario Kart 9. I've said this before, so I'm not going to go too long on it, but with Mario Kart, I feel like it's at the point now, and same with Smash, it's at the point now where it should just be like just Mario Kart, and it just includes all the previous tracks. And when I have a Mario Kart account that I have purchased, and then when the next system comes out and I buy Mario Kart on that one, all of the stuff that I've purchased before as DLC comes forward. That's what I would prefer. But hey, that's just me. Let's see. I think that's everything there. Let's jump into the Twitch chat really quick. Let's see. Bravd is commenting on Joker from Batman. He really wants it to be the Cesar Romero Joker with the makeup over his mustache. That would be awesome. I think that would be great. I would also really like to see the Burgess Meredith version of the Penguin in that as well. Res TV is surprised that I've not played Wario Land Shake It. It was pretty fantastic. Dual screen streams. Since it's a very good game. By the way, I think this is the weekend, but I think this weekend I'm going to be on the Dual Screen Streams podcast talking about Nintendo stuff. I have to look at my calendar. I can't remember. So if so, make sure you check them out. And Vaxer says gasp for some reason. I'm not sure why. But anyway, what do you guys think? What is it that you're hoping to hear from the Nintendo Direct? And I called the podcast by the wrong name. I'm sorry. It's called Nintendo Dual Screens, not Dual Screen Streams. I got my streams crossed. Sorry about that. Clearly, I've ended the universe by saying it. I want to hear what you guys think about your predictions for Nintendo Direct. So get those sent to me as soon as possible, so that we can get those predictions before the Nintendo Direct comes out. And I'm sure I'll talk about those on the show.